Okay, this isn't a both sides have a point kind of problem. Now, what he's explicitly talking about is a lot of the discourse surrounding video games. There's a lot of people who just say things that are kind of pandering to a specific audience and what he considers to be totally disingenuous. And it's okay to hate disingenuous, insincere people, but that's not what the problem with the video game industry is. The problem with the video game industry is that you have consultant companies siphoning off money that's investor money that they have no reason to be there, because if you look into it, there was a lot of discrimination related lawsuits that started happening around the early 2000s to 2010s because millennials were getting out of college and then getting employed, and the implication is they might have been pushing a lot more discrimination lawsuits towards bigger companies. And then this has a result of companies trying to overcorrect in trying to hire consultants like this to avoid having to pay a bunch of legal fees. So then you have people in these consultant companies who are totally disingenuous, who, when they went to college, the kind of lesson that they learned is how to lie to get money from people. And so that's what they do. They use their consultant company jobs. They just try to say something that sounds convincing, and they try to make as much money as possible. And then they frame it as like, okay, if you do everything we say, you'll avoid public backlash. And instead, they make the customer about as angry as possible because they hate the game industry. They want to destroy the game industry. They hate gamers. They want to destroy this hobby. And when you have one side that explicitly hates the game industry and video games and gamers, and the other side is just people who like the hobby, there is no, oh, both sides have a point kind of a thing. It's these people who, I'm not even sure I would say it's a political activist problem, because I don't think they think that much of what they're doing the majority of the time. I'm pretty sure they just think, how can I maximize the amount of money in my pocket? They aren't thinking, oh, I'm trying to push a message and blah, blah, blah. They're thinking, I got this college degree. How do I use it to maximize as much money as I can? Oh, and I can destroy video games as a medium, which is something I hate. And you might wonder, like, why would someone do that? Why would someone do something that could be seemingly so self-destructive? And there's a few reasons for it. And one example is that kind of destructive urge. Like, you see someone build a sandcastle and then you want to run up and smash it. So they see how successful the gaming industry is, and some of them just want to destroy this successful medium that got built up so quickly just because it is a good thing in its own right. But then you do have people trying to force political messaging, trying to force it in such a careless kind of propagandistic way where there's no nuance to it, there's no room for interpretation. You look at something like Dustborn and it makes this clear black and white with it makes everything black and white. Every kind of issue it supposedly tries to discuss. It doesn't try to present multiple political views contrasting with whatever the primary political view is. It doesn't, you need some kind of nuance, you need some kind of room for people to possibly disagree with your intended message, right? Because art is a thing that exists and then people consume it, you can say, and then they take away whatever they want from it, regardless of what the artist's intentions were. Propaganda tells you you have to think a specific way, and the kind of propaganda that we're seeing predominantly is the kind of more socialist, more cultural Marxist propaganda. People bring up the Alex Jones game on Steam as being another kind of propaganda. And there you go. You can make propaganda on all kinds of political views, on all kinds of philosophical views, on all kinds of religious views. It doesn't have to be not like being left wing isn't automatically propaganda, and being not left wing isn't automatically art. You can, that's not what the distinction is. So propaganda's bad, and almost everyone can agree propaganda's bad. And then people who want to destroy the industry explicitly are bad and shouldn't be in the video game industry. What side can defend that? Like, what is the defense that destroying the video game industry is okay? Tell me. Who is saying that destroying video games as a medium is okay and good?